When it comes to Sonic, I'm usually pretty positive. Even for things that most people hate, I can look past a lot. Not this time. I know I said I was gonna make a video on something other than Sonic last time, but I gotta remove this thought from my brain before it consumes me. Back in the ye olde year of 2006, the Nintendo Wii just came out, and the people over at Sega wanted to have a Sonic game released on it close to its launch. Apparently they originally wanted to port Sonic 06 to the Wii, but it would have taken too long to release. So instead, they decided to make a game that revolved around the Wiimote. Fast forward to February of 2007, and Sonic and the Secret Rings drops for the Wii. Unlike a lot of other Sonic games I've talked about, I actually had no experience with this one as a kid, and I only played it for the first time a few years ago. I got it as a birthday gift from a coworker, complete in box and everything. I knew it didn't have the best reputation, but I figured it can't be that bad. Let's give it a fair shot. That single choice is one of my biggest regrets. It was, in fact, that bad. This game just made me mad. The most common emotion I felt playing this was anger. The control of this game and the level design that it pairs with just doesn't work. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get through the story real quick first, then I can experience pain while you watch. So this one is the first of the 2 storybook Sonic games. Yeah, they did 2 of these and never looked back, which honestly is a shame since I like the idea of Sonic being dragged into these mythological worlds. But they probably cut their losses after they both got pretty crap review scores. The fact that the Black Knight has a lower score than the Secret Rings is beyond me. That is absolute hogwash. The story starts off with Sonic snoozing on the couch someplace. He wakes up, grabs a ring, and Shara pops out to ask him for help stopping an evil spirit named Eraser Jin. Eraser is erasing the world of the Arabian Nights, and if he isn't stopped, he'd be able to come and cause trouble in the real world as well. Shara is the genie of the ring, and makes a contract with Sonic, meaning she's bound to protect him. Agreeing to help, he wishes to be brought into the world of the Arabian Nights. After the most tedious tutorial known to man, they're confronted by Eraser Jin, who yaps about his plans and shows off some tension with Shara before cursing Sonic with a flaming arrow. The flame on his chest acts like a time limit, so if it goes out, he'll die. Eraser Jin tells them to collect those 7 world rings for him before the flame goes out if he wants to live. I'd call this kinda dark if it wasn't Sonic we're talking about. Dude was literally killed in 06. Not to mention the Ark disaster, so this is actually pretty tame by those standards. From here it's pretty self-explanatory. You run across each stage searching for the world rings, and you also run into Arabian Nights characters like Ali Baba and Sinbad and wait a minute. Yeah, these characters all take on the appearance and personality of Sonic's friends, Ali Baba and Sinbad being Tails and Knuckles. Eggman is here too as King Shahryar, but he's actually not evil for once. The annoying thing about how the story progresses is that it's all mission-based, and you don't know which missions are required and which are optional. Not to mention that the missions themselves suck dick, but I'll save that for later. Anyway, the story just kinda meanders for a while. Like, Eraser summons a fire spirit named Ifrit to burn the rest of the stories in the book, and you actually just have to run away for a while. This leads to meeting Knuckles, who leads them to the Blue World Ring, which can also control water and make Ifrit vulnerable. But after killing Ifrit, he drops a bomb that explodes and also drops the Red World Ring. It's probably a side effect of actually playing this abysmal dog shit, but the wild goose chase for these world rings gets tiring throughout the story. I mean, Eraser was the one who summoned Ifrit, and he had the world ring the whole time. You also learn that the world rings contain different emotions, like the red one being rage. This is cool until later when some of them are most definitely not emotions, but fucking whatever. Also, when talking about having all 7 of the world rings, Sonic says,
"It might even open the gates of hell!"
What the hell, man? Anyway, you meet King Solomon, collect another ring, and learn that Eraser Jin is the genie of the lamp from the story of Aladdin. Shara gave Sonic a relic earlier in the story and said to use it as their last resort against Eraser. That relic later turns out to be the lamp. Actually, she gave it right after Sonic mentioned
The gates of hell!
They eventually confront Eraser in his lair and beat his ass until he runs away. He hides behind a locked door that can be unlocked with the world rings. If you choose to play this game, and that's a big if, please just collect all 7 before you get here. It'll hurt less when you can just move on to the real last boss instead of backtracking through the
Gates of hell!
Eraser Jin is waiting for them and tries to get Shara to give him the 7 world rings. Here it gets revealed that Shara was once romantically involved with Eraser, and that she wants to be back with him. Shara was really about to betray Sonic and let the whole world get destroyed, all just to get freaky with a purple genie. Sonic, knowing that this isn't what she truly wants, commands her using the ring to do what she feels is right. She can't handle her conflicting emotions and falls to the floor, leaving Eraser with the world rings anyway. Oops. He's gotta sacrifice the one who collected the rings to fully use their power, so he goes for Sonic, but Shara takes the hit instead. Shara dies, and Eraser transforms into Aflayla Walayla, a powerful but incomplete monster. This isn't explicitly said in the game, but the reason he's incomplete is because the sacrifice has to be Sonic since he's the real collector of the rings. My thing is like, Shara's sacrifice clearly did something though, right? Like he absorbs all 7 rings after she dies, but rejects 3 of them after the transformation. So she must have counted for something, right? I don't know, man. These legends are confusing. But after all the crap this game put me through, I gotta give it credit for this one thing. Those 3 world rings that weren't absorbed by Eraser are taken by Sonic, transforming him into Darkspine Sonic. A cool as fuck form representing the 3 emotions of the rings: rage, sadness, and hatred. Sonic beats the brakes off Aflayla Walayla and reveals that he has Eraser's lamp, and uses its power to force him to grant 3 wishes. Again, I'll give another point to this game for this scene. I always thought it was dope. Sonic brings Shara back to life, fixes the damage done by Eraser, and seals his ass inside his lamp forever. Shara is seen crying a little bit over Eraser being sealed away, and the only goofy part of this scene happens next. Sonic wishes for a mountain of handkerchiefs for Shara to cry with, and while the idea is touching and meant to call back to the start of the game, saying "I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs" just sounds silly to me. The credits roll, and Shara talks about how Sonic went on to have a few more adventures with Alibaba and Sinbad until he found his way back to his world. The story of this game is alright. It's simple with enough stakes and nuance to keep me engaged, but the structure's a little disjointed. Although I really do like the concept of traveling through the Arabian Nights, and I think Shara is a great character. But I think the best thing to come out of this story is always going to be Darkspine Sonic. The biggest problem with the story is that I actually have to play the game to experience it. Playing this game feels like you've just walked through the
Gates of Hell!
The game is completely on rails, meaning Sonic never stops running. Here's where their over-reliance on the Wiimote comes in. Just the Wiimote held sideways. No nunchuck, no classic controller, no GameCube controller, nothing. I hope you love motion controls because that's the only way you're going to be controlling Sonic in this game. He never stops moving, so the only thing you can do is tilt the Wiimote left and right, hold 2 to jump, and shake it to do a homing attack. It's true that you can hold the 1 button to brake and tilt toward yourself to go backwards, but they barely ever work like they should. It's just so awkward and inconsistent. In fact, the whole game feels awkward to play, period. Sonic feels like he can barely pick up speed even though he doesn't stop moving. The jerky camera is disorienting as hell, and it's just not fun to play. I should mention the soul gauge and the skill rings. When you fill up the soul gauge, you can use the D-pad to do either the speed break or the time break. They're what they sound like. Speed break is like a boost and time break slows down time. And with enough experience points, you can choose from over 100 different skills to use during stages when they're equipped to a skill ring. All that sounds cool, except none of it can save this game from its core problems. I really couldn't tell you when the skills helped that much, and the soul gauge is only useful for speed break because time break is a visual fucking mess. The worst is probably when you have to stop or backtrack through one of the many annoying missions to kill an enemy or break something. It's so damn jank. Speaking of missions, the whole game revolves around them. I commend the effort to add more replayability, but many of these missions are a pain to go through. Honestly, I still wouldn't even fault the missions themselves. It all comes back to the controls and the on-rails gameplay that spits in the face of everything this game tries to do. It just doesn't work. And if oh my god, okay, you see that? Believe me, I really wanted to like this game. I think the aesthetic is nice, the music is great, the things that are happening are cool, but the gameplay is an absolute chore. Even the final boss, which is usually a highlight, pissed me off because all you do is make yourself look like a tool shaking the Wiimote around like crazy while dodging these purple energy balls with practically no rings in sight. And I just want to say, even though I'm talking a lot of shit about this game, I'm not trying to diminish or insult the developers. I understand making this stuff ain't easy, and after looking through the special book extras, you can tell they obviously put a lot of effort into this. But the Wiimote control scheme was just not the way to go. Speaking of which, the extras are fantastic. There's so much concept art and footage that really shows you how the process of creating this stuff works. It gives you a deeper appreciation for it. That said, I really didn't like the final product. So yeah, Sonic and the Secret Rings is the worst Sonic game I've played. The cool ideas are all there, and the music, as always, is great, but the gameplay is some of the worst the series has to offer. Maybe the fan remake, Project Reignition, will turn it all around, but until then, I'm happy to shelve it. Or burn it. Or send it through the
Gates of Hell!